And I was shocked. I looked around my public pool on this Wednesday afternoon, and I noticed that in a public swimming pool on a Wednesday afternoon, there are three kinds of people. I'm going to be honest here. Bit of honesty here. Three kinds of people in a public pool on a Wednesday afternoon. I've seen toddlers, right? Toddlers. Paedophile. And the mentally handicapped. Now I felt self-conscious. It's pretty obvious. I am not a toddler. There comes a point in life you need to start making decisions. You need to think fast. You need to start taking your swimming gear down inside a farm foods bag to show you're not a pedo, you're just a bit mental. Try to cut a swimming cap out of farm foods bag. Because everybody that carries a farm foods bag has got a screw loose, isn't it? That is don't mean mentally handicapped, just a bit mad, right? That is the universal sign for do not approach me, the farm foods bag. I don't mean people with 3 or 4 farm foods bags, they've just been shopping in farm foods. It's that one single, solitary, slightly faded. This is my farm foods bag. There are many others like it, but this one is... I seen a guy with an inside-out farm foods bag. That is a statement of intent, isn't it? An inside-out farm foods bag. That's how I've got an obesity epidemic. Don't have the facilities. That's how I've got an obesity epidemic. If you've got a bit of waste as well, it means you need to shop in shitholes. Now you walk in somewhere trendy, like Topshop for a pair of jeans. Somewhere trendier than that, maybe. River Island. Walk into River Island and the sales assistants that work in these places, some indie band freak show, they come bouncing across to serve you. Look at that kind of, hey man, yeah, woo! Telling you to chillax. Everybody just chillax, man. Anybody ever told you to chillax? They've took the word chill and the word relax and combined them to make, ironically, the most infuriating word there's ever been. Well, they come bouncing over this guy. They've got that kind of energy and enthusiasm that oozes from people who have never been punched in the face. But you require this guy's assistance. You're in Topshop, they sell jeans. You're in Topshop, you need jeans. So I have to say, excuse me mate, can I try on these jeans please? And a 36-inch waist. And his enthusiasm. Was that you? Good to see you again. Hey, 36 inch. Try a 38. Fuck you, man. Ask the guy, try the jeans on, and a 38-inch waist. Good call, right? Shut up. 38-inch waist. Regardless, 36, 38-inch waist. You say to the guy, can I try these jeans on? And a 40-inch waist. 38-inch waist, and the guy, his enthusiasm just drains. Right? And he looks at you, appalled. Well, that way you would look at somebody if they just took a shite in your kettle. Imagine somebody took a shite in your kettle, you'd be furious, wouldn't you? It's a social faux pas. You just shite in the kettle. I don't come to your house and shite in your kit. You've changed, man. Shiting in kettles. So I started shopping in proper shithole clothes shop. You don't get judged in a proper shithole clothes shop. I was in a place called Dunn's Stores. It's the hot new up-and-coming shithole clothes shop on the scene. Somewhere between Primark and shoplifting. Now I've got a theory about clothes shop. I find in a clothes shop, the cheaper the clothes, the more aggressive the customer. Right? Anybody ever done that thing? You've been in a shop and you confuse another shopper for being a member of the staff. Right? And you go to ask them a question and they go, oh, I don't actually work here. And you go, oh, I thought you worked here. And you both share a chuckle and move on. It's finished. However, in Dunnes Stores, it's no laughing matter. The cheaper the clothes, the more aggressive the customer, right? Tensions run through the roof in these kind of places. I was in this dump. When a guy said to me, he said, excuse me, buddy. How much? How much are these? And I said, I don't actually work here, buddy. And he said, that's not what I fucking asked you. Done. That was my first ever job, part-time job. I used to work in TK Maxx. Thank you, TK Maxx. I was in charge of the changing rooms. That was my job. I was the guy that would count your items and then give you a number. So if you were trying on 3 items, I gave you a number 3. And if you were trying on 4 items, I gave you a number 4. But we only had numbers 1 to 6. And this one time a woman was trying on 7 items. And everybody was fucking freaking out. I said, calm ourselves. Yeah, let's just calm ourselves. Give me the 6. Give me the 1. Problem solved. The BNP have been in the papers recently. I've seen a bit of racist graffiti that kind of sums up the whole thing. It's in a kind of deprived housing area. On a newsagent, somebody spray painted BNP, and below the BNP, they drew a swastika. Right? Now, beside this swastika were a couple of unsuccessful attempts at drawing a swastika. They'd obviously misjudged the complexity of the operation. And rather than spray paint over the failed attempts, they left them there. They must have thought you get some form of credit for showing you're working. I was reading the government plans to provide musical instruments to children, like young people from deprived areas, because that'll solve their problems. Musical instruments. What's up, son? Your mum's a crack addict. Your dad's in jail. Don't worry. Have a glockenspiel. Problem solved. Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you. Everything's fine. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A lot of fond memories growing up. The good old days. I liked school. My favourite class at school was woodwork. Remember craft and design? I never actually liked the subject. I liked the teacher. See, everybody's woodwork teacher was an alcoholic. I remember this guy, our woodwork teacher. he would just be sitting at his desk about 10 minutes in to the woodwork lesson, and he's not even spoke a word. Right? Just sitting there, going, and he'd face the class and just say, right kids, right children, I've had a tough weekend. I was supposed to go to IKEA, but I spent my wages in odd bins. So one of yous wee pricks make me a spice rack. And when you were 12 years old, that was pressure. When a middle-aged man's marriage depends on your abilities with a tube of glue and a bandsaw. I left school. After school, I remember looking for a job, unemployed, in the job centre. First job, you see, a customer service advisor's assistant. One of these jobs, it just gets shiter and shiter every word they use. Just goes mwah, mwah, mwah. Basically means you make the tea for the guy that makes the coffee. Like, everything else is like experience required and qualifications needed. And I was just a dickhead, right? Just left school, don't have much of that. Last option you've got, you can join the army. Right? You've got the British Army recruitment desk. The guy's there. Come here, son. Be the best. And I'm thinking, me, join the army, be the best. T-Mobile just said, I don't have enough qualifications to sell phones. Microsoft just said, I don't have enough experience to answer phones. And you want to give me a machine gun? You don't need to be in the army these days to get a gun if you're a young person. A lot of gun crime on the streets, a lot of caps getting popped. I don't really know the solutions. I just know the problems. It used to be in the UK at 14 years old you could legally be in possession of an air rifle. Whilst it's not a proper gun, it's still SWAT, right? But that get moved to 17 years old because you know 17-year-olds, they're dead responsible. If somebody was pointing a gun at you, you'd be going, that's fine, he looks about 17. He knows what he's done. 17 years old to be in possession of a firearm, but you've got to be 18 before you can be in possession of fireworks. 17, you can shoot somebody dead, but you've got to wait a year before you can frighten the shite out of a cat. But drugs, I get offered drugs quite a lot in this game. You get offered the usual suspects like ecstasy, speed, and a drug called horse tranquilizer. You shouting yay or nay? There. I can understand people who don't know anything about drugs. Maybe trying ecstasy because it sounds quite good. Well, the connotations of the name, ecstasy. You think of states of euphoria and happiness. And then speed is pretty self-explanatory. Then horse tranquilizer. That hardly sounds the most sociable of evenings. The fact of replaced the original name with the effect it has on a horse. I think that's the way every drug should be tested. Give a lot of them to horses, then you can see what it actually does to you. It would also make the Grand National pretty interesting. 20 quid on the one that's breakdancing, please. I was watching a programme about children from the opposite end of the social spectrum. A programme called My Super Sweet 16th. Anybody seen this? Don't get too excited, it's quite shite. I was watching it about 2 o'clock in the morning when the TV's quite shite. Anybody watch late night telly? You ever been up that late at night when the TV just goes, get to bed? There's nothing to see here. Unless you're a deaf baseball fan with a gambling problem. Beat it. Has anybody watched these late night Channel 5 phone-in quiz shows? Anybody seen these, like Quizmania and The Cash Vault? It's just robbing drunk people. No, you come in at night, there's some guy going, okay, everybody, okay, thanks for watching, okay. For £10,000, we're looking for a guy's name. You come home steaming, I know a guy's name. 10 grand. I know a few guys' names. Watching this Super Sweet 16th. What it is, it's these millionaire parents and they've given their 15-year-old kids a budget to spend on their 16th birthday party. This one young guy, his dad gave him £200,000, right, as a budget to spend on his 16th birthday party. I'm watching this, thinking, if my dad had given me £200,000 to spend on my 16th birthday party, I would be dead. It would make for a more interesting TV show. Your 16th birthday party, you should be grateful for a bottle of Mad Dog 2020. And a smelly finger. Bad time for that hand gesture there, so. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for listening to my... Thank you, Edinburgh. Good evening. Good to be here at the Comedy Roadshow. Thought maybe start off with a joke. So, I seen a sign that said, "Have you seen this man?" So I phoned up and I said, "No." It's something to do, isn't it? I might be a few things, but I'm not a grass. So it's good to be in Edinburgh. I'm actually from Glasgow myself. Thank you. I would very much get a reputation. The city of Glasgow was recently announced as Europe's murder capital, but also voted the UK's friendliest city. In the same week. We got our act together pronto. You might get the shite kicked out of you, but you'll get directions to the hospital. Nice people. A bit mental, but a friendly mental. I also remember my first ever altercation with a friendly madman. Right. It was about midnight. I was standing at a bus stop, waiting on a bus. That's the way I play the game, right? That's how I roll. At the bus stop, waiting on a bus, 2 people sat beside me. They were doing something similar, and everybody was having a good time. Sounds a bit far-fetched, but it's based on a true story. So everyone's there getting their bus stop on when a friendly madman showed up. A guy, he was across the road, and he shouted, "Hoi, you! Hoi, you! Aye, you!" Now, when you're at a bus stop at midnight and somebody instigates a conversation with "Hoi, you! Hoi, you! Aye, you!" you kinda shite yourself. And you try and keep your head down, right? And then the guy shouts, "Hoi, fat boy, fatty." And while I'm standing there and I'm looking at the two people, I'm trying to figure out their BMI. And because one of us is about to become a statistic, right? But beside me were just these two big, skinny pensioner types. Cool, this one must be for me. And the guy said, "Fat boy, give me a quid or you're getting stabbed." I thought, a quid? That was quite reasonable. Panic over. I mean, I've never been stabbed, right, but I can imagine it'd be somewhat inconvenient. Maybe even put a dampener on your evening, right? You'd be covered in blood, you'd need to go to a hospital to get stitches, you'd be physically and emotionally traumatised. And here, we've got a gentleman offering me the chance to bypass such a horrendous ordeal in this current financial climate for a mere £1. Now I'm a sucker for a bargain, so... In Edinburgh, you're talking at least a £5, aren't you? Is everybody having a good credit crunch? Everybody enjoying it? I don't really know what happened. I just remember everything just became really expensive, right? And you never asked any questions. You just get charged astronomical prices just to be told, "Oh yeah, that's the credit crunch," right? But the final straw for me, I was in a shop, right? And I was buying a packet of Bikers. A packet of Space Raiders. And a packet of Johnny's onion rings. Does anybody know the collective term for these kind of crisps? Exactly. Now imagine my shock when the guy asked me for 45 pence. Now when 10p crisps are costing 15p, that's when I began to take an interest in economics. Right, that's when I started watching Bloomberg and reading the Financial Times. The FTSE's up on the Dow Jones, who knows what that means, but it's only a matter of time before we're paying a quid for a chomp. See, I was never like the rich. I don't come from like a wealthy background, but I don't come from a poor background. I was always the kind of in-between guy. Like, remember the first day back at school after the summer holidays? That was the day you found out what class you were in. I don't mean educationally. I mean socially. Right? No, I would never look at the rich kids I was never one of them that would come strolling in and have a suntan and a new school bag. But I was never one of the ones that would come in with like a black eye and a new second name. Remember him? You'd need to ask your teacher. You'd be going, "Sir, how come Jamie Cosgrove's now called Jamie De La Cruz?" Oh, it's because his mum's a dirty. Well, gentlemen, that's all for me. Thank you all.